all life is sorrowful, is the first Buddhist saying, and it is. It wouldn't be life if there were not a temporality involved, which is sorrow, loss.
That's a pessimistic move.
Well, I mean, you can say yes to it, say it's great this way. I mean, it's the way God intended it.
You don't really believe that?
But this is the way it is. And I don't believe anybody intended it, but this is the way it is. And Joyce's wonderful line, history is a nightmare from which I'm trying to awake. And the way to awake from it is not to be afraid and to recognize, as I did in my conversation with that Hindu guru or teacher that I told you of, that all of this as it is as it has to be, and it is a manifestation of the eternal presence in the world.
Across ages, thought waves disseminate in block pages. Modern day stargazer, charting the mazes of the farthest constellations, parting the veil of lost mystical conquered nations. Pardon my dazing, I'm awe-stricken by this oral fable, a lore of ancients. Floral glades blossom from its aura, amazing flora in uncharted spaces. Words pacing of the fauna, sparsely phrasing, singing a song of praises in an art that's ageless, as birds play in the waters where the ark waited, while archangels swayed and became darker deities in half-lighted places as the darkness faded. Their conscience made of a past life's oasis, on a path with light bathing it, a goddess strays in the catacombs of this subconscious age. I tag along with the cautious gaze, modest ways, as my thoughts displayed become a torch that blazes. I have the longest and hardest days ahead of me. Better be precautious, aided by gods and deities. Let us gleam in the darkest places ever seen, teeming with clever demons of nether regions. Yet benevolence sees them and forever frees them. Breezes tread the freshest leaves of a precious tree and spread the breath of the species, the blessed seed. Blessed we, yes indeed, meekly blessed in deeds, less heated in messages, effortless speeches. My profession is breathing, like testaments readings, the vestiges of secrets confessed to a priestess, the effigies of Jesus, deathly and speechless. Heaven can free you, but your destiny needs you. Resting in peace is legal, read of messengers deep and see through evil. Speak to what's left of the people, meek and peaceful, yet bleak and restless in sequel. Seek the rest of the pieces of our desperate freedom and seize who you're destined to be in this desolate season. Source of life, the course of righteousness. Follow his path and his laws will heighten you. He's the source of enlightenment. His life force is a light in the abyss. Like Christ, he's the bliss of the righteous and the wicked. Buddha is the source of life, the course of righteousness. Follow his path and his laws will heighten you. He's the source of enlightenment. His life force is a light in the abyss. Like Christ, he's the bliss of the righteous and the wicked. In a lucid dreaming session, I found truth and gleanings, lessons of Buddha's beaming presence and sutras. He guided me and provided me with the essence of my future. If I followed the path that's eightfold, swallowed my wrath and didn't stray for gold, I would save my soul and bathe it in the golden ages of olden days. He told me I would amaze myself and others at my capacities if I stayed healthy and didn't utter blasphemies. He warned me to master my scorn for the ignorant and blinded masses. We were all born innocent, but as the time passes and our mind lapses, we're scornful and belligerent. Our mindless actions adorn us with bitterness. Our kind boldly asked him, why do I mourn my innocence? He told me boldly, the crimes in your past are cold and soulless. Know this and behold it, but your future is golden. Be truthful and soulful, don't dwell in past actions. Hell is the mask of your madness. Break the spell before they cast it again, and dwell with your everlasting friends. They hold the key to your destiny. Believe in the densities of ancients. You were meant to be ageless. Buddha is the source of life, the course of righteousness. Follow his path and his laws will heighten you. He's the source of enlightenment. His life force is a light in the abyss. Like Christ, he's the bliss of the righteous and the wicked. Buddha is the source of life, the course of righteousness. Follow his path and his laws will heighten you. He's the source of enlightenment. His life force is a light in the abyss. Like Christ, he's the bliss of the righteous and the wicked. We're like knights of the round table, striking with sound fables to heighten the sound and engage you. Profound and amazing angels that slay through boundless mazes of dangers. Hang you by your chains that dangle. You anger me with your pagan bangles. I strangle your enslavement anthems and your caveman tantrums. You can blame us, claiming banter, but it's plain to us you're vain and cancerous. I stay with sages that flavor pages with ancient mantras. Patiently answer every stranger till they change their camps, and then tame them like panthers with a shaman. Shame that every nameless artist claims to be both famous and heartless. So if your claims to be the hardest, then my aim's to be the smartest. This game to me's retarded. I praise the names of the goddess, apocalyptic like Connor. I'm sane and honest, all the same I'm modest in presence, and yet the opposite in essence. I promise you blessings of the prophets like Johannes and Yeshua, while they profit from vestiges of their highness's messages. But you know who's the most high. No close tries, no close ties either. While most die from ether, so high that they're heathens. I'm suspended in stasis, asleep till I awaken. I dream of vivid, exquisite nature. Visit realms of ancient, invisible patrons. Indivisible in nature, metaphorical and literal pages. Sway deities from sideral ages, from Pleiades to miserable race and sideral space. I make haste, make way, consider the stakes before we're laid to waste and littered with snakes.
Un esprit perverti par l'apologie de l'argent facile.
Spiritual reality takes you through a unique journey. A journey which will change your life. A journey which will enrich you and make you knowledgeable and blissful. Spiritual reality is a program on meditation and meditational experiences. While you watch this program, be totally relaxed. Just witness it. Just flow with it. Don't try to analyze it. Totally be with it. If any thought comes, cut the thought. Take a deep breath and just be with it. It is just for you.
I bathe in the light of forgotten realms. Coptic spells I dropped in tells for the lost ones that mark the frail. I get lost in my puns like a drop in a hailstorm. Inhale swarms of spirits that scorn my lyrics, but I exhale them the meekest when they hear it in speeches. Weekly I'm weeping for the failed and deceased, those that fail in the deepest abysses to never return. Some say they forever burn, but I doubt that. Myself, I'm an outcast without past or futures. What are we but blank slates? So I live in the present and thank fate, thank the faithful for their presence. I'm grateful for every pace, I'm closer to the heavens. I'm graceful with my foes when I send them to the abodes of legends. Turn them into yogis with my soul's heat. They know me when my flow speaks and a lotus greets me. If I ever know defeat, I'll grow cleverer and reap what I sow with no sleep, till I'm bolder and meeker with the soul of a seeker. The future is golden, be truthful and soulful. Don't dwell in past actions. Hell is the mask of your madness. We're meant to be ageless. Beauty abounds all around you. It's truly astounding what sound can do. We move mountains, unearthing underground jewels and youth fountains. Thunderclouds spewing fresh water that condenses into dewdrops on blessed flora. Who stops to think and commences the thoughts of a blessed aura? Let's explore the complexities of nature and its recipes. Meditate in the midst of a stretch of trees. Elevate and uplift, reach bliss and ecstasy. Yes indeed, bless the seas like cess in celestial regions. Protect yourself from demons and fiendish demeaning creatures. What's the meaning of life? The reason for strife. Observe beautiful fractals gleaming in the light of the evening. Suitable practices like yoga, tactics for the soul's contraction and expansion. Perhaps in a mansion in your mind you'll find answers that shine like divine mantras.
Soar in the purple light in the sky, or in my mind, flight of dragons, soar in the purple light in the sky. Or in my mind.
I walked in an age where dragons existed and watched over caves, bragging of riches unthought and amazing. They sang songs of fire and ice, breathing flames and frost. I admired their life, seeking fame and fortunes that they guarded as sordid guardians. Some days they flocked in the skies with watchful eyes, consuming entire flocks with fire. Villages, castles and forests that lay dormant and unsuspecting. It was horrible and hectic, deplorable yet majestic and breathtaking. Utterly chest caving as they smothered blessed naves with their breathless flames. Kingdoms laid to waste as they soared and waited in space. They say they disappeared, now they're a distant fear, but they exist in spheres we lack the portals to fathom. My own daughter's a black water dragon. She's only a whelp for the moment, but she's stealthily honing her skills. When she's grown, she'll kill hundreds of thousands of demons, hunt them and drown them in seas of freezing waters, then flock with her breed and slaughter the legions of darkness. Believe it and hearken. Believe it and hearken.
Flight of dragons, soar in the purple light in the sky, or in my mind. Flight of dragons, soar in the
so many things, it's not even funny. And it's not cause I'm hungry, I'm often sinking. There's rocks in my stomach, I walk a thin line between the plots of those rotten and asunder. I'm not rocking a Hummer or rocks on my stomach independent. I'm dependent on my wife for the remnants of my life. Endless strife I'm in, all these stripes I win. Don't do jack shit for my assets, dropping classics is my passion. It's like I'm clashing in a mask with villains, the basking, killing the masses, children. I'm past them, I feel it like glass revealing your past tense, or a flask filled with ashes. I'm revealing my aspects till I'm still in a casket. I'm the illest of bastards, but what I'm building is lasting. Still I'm a halfling, a bipolar angel. I know I'm the strangest, I border the lines on the shores of my mind. I order them with rhymes to make it better. I can't take this weather, I need a makeshift umbrella. This matrix is hellish, I need to make it the shelter, but it's sweltering hot, and I'm frigidly cold in this melting pot. I'm lividly old, digging in my soul for gems and old friends. I'm a ghost kin and it's no pretend, it's no pretend. I don't walk with the peace, I talk with the beast and barter for peace. I'm the peace walker, my speech offerings see the farthest of beaches and blow a calm breeze on the growing palm trees. My song's degrees produce psalms like Jesus, but I'd rather call him Yeshua. Don't call me a messenger in any religious sense. I've had visions intense and limitless senses, but I don't follow the prophet's instructions. I'm too sorrowful for my optics induction in hell's bardos. I can smell the barcodes on your brittle necks. It spells the arsenal of 666. I know it's also an Egyptian measure of the pyramids. You want a mystic treasure? Then here it is. Lift to the heavens as you're hearing this. Follow your destiny, don't be hollow like a wretched tree in a haunted forest. Daunting tasks ahead of you, but you have to flourish like vegetables that nourish your celestial source. Don't be lost in the celestial. Why would you mourn and bother with the laws of our forefathers? The aura of the goddess is all you need for guidance. She'll provide you with all the seeds for your garden. Dream and be prosperous, don't fiend like a novice. It's demeaning and preposterous. My ink gleams like an octopus. Poisonous drops to push your consciousness forward to superconscious waters. You'll face monsters sorted, you should tame them, do not just slaughter. Be lofty and godly, you'll be properly rewarded. You ought to read authors that unlock these doors that you've been fearfully neglecting. The spear to me is a weapon and a namesake. Step to me in vain and fate will be your destiny. Kill me if you bested me, I will come back to taunt you. I will come back to haunt you. I will sun tracks till the sun's black like a gauntlet fashioned from onyx. I clash with demonic masters, calm and passionate till my death, and I'll be back after resurrected. Trapped in Maya, the path of desires, illusions, confusion and fire. The wrath of the Mayans, foretold in more scrolls than the Bible. Do the math with your rivals. You can cast all your idols aside. Buddha's path is the vital attire. All the lies that survived face a tidal demise. All the idols that rise and conspire, surprised and retired, sublime and enlivened minds who aspire to wise and rhymes. Admire the demise of the times into timelessness as we sink into mindlessness on the brink of a mind shift. Realign with the fifth dimensional, perceptual and sensical, since perception is the essence essential. I ink an entry to bless you and prevent you from entering incentives invented. Present you with this gift, Tibetan and Hindu, divinity within you, a lesson to lift you. The message is simple, samsara is a desert like Sahara. To the Hindus it's Maya's deception, endless like Himalaya's ascension. Without a guide or directions, the sky isn't a limit. You can fly if you wish it, or die if you're tripping. Within you and your mind is the vision. Here's a sign that you sense it. Your third eye's aligned with your center, that's your fifth sense. Your sixth and your seventh, telepathy and kinetic metaphysics. Then self-prophecy is destiny heavenly. Believe it and fulfill it, it was meant to be. Plan your dreams and your children attentively. Plan your means and you'll build with intensity. We're still in the third density. Your eighth sense is shape-shifting, but don't be a day trickster. Make sense, display wisdom, stay blessed and stay sentient. A day is an instant and praying is a gift, so say it as you wish it. Replay this and listen, meet sages that lift you. Read pages that glisten, seek deities within you. Nameless as unexplainable principles, ageless, unattainable, invincible. Sensical, sensible and simple. Intrinsic, logarithmic, linguistics imprinted at logically specific intervals. Gods are prolific like infinite decimals. So many paths to follow, you have to ask to swallow the red pill. If lead kills, laughter gives life. I have to think twice, I'm dead ill. Wishing I could pass through astral passages and then build with past travelers with said skills that men killed. Real an illusion, still in confusion with a profusion of intrinsic truths for the soothing of our gifted youth. The mystic soothsayer who's praying for deliverance from naysayers. I slay praise in the wilderness, then pay praise to the spirits left. My lyrics breath left you bereft and spiritless, till you transcend your mental, merge with the transcendental. Words of bland men tempt you. Observe where my grand pen sent you. Stranded in the depths of your senses, in ascension in immensity's density, within intensity's suspension, beyond comprehension and karma, beyond condescension and dharma. My essence is prana, blessings in Maha Mantras, stretching in Padmasana, my message etched in the Ramayana, beckoned by lotus blossoms to unfold awesome scrolls Akashic. Behold the gnostic soul doctrines. False prophets hold you locked in like Sheol in a dark pit. Societies like ghouls in a mosh pit. Lie to me, I school you in offset dimensions. Pierce through your intentions. Fierce as Buddhic mentions of Jain lords in ascension. You strange gods are demented. Face the halls of a mentee. Pace your microcosms attentively. You might go bothering a density with a breath. Crush an entire cosmos with a step. I aspire to what gods wrote with their breaths. You retire with an odd quote at your deaths. Starvation of the soul and mind, a starved nation that's totally blind. We spar with snakes as the chosen kind. Purpose gets us in a frozen bind. At least we know the signs. Peace to the worst and the best, the cursed and the blessed. My thirst is depth as the earth and breath. My purpose is to make verses stretch. Birth to death is my worth and breath. Words embedded in this urban setting. Herb ascetic like the herds of shepherds. You heard that I work it steady and I search for exceptional, transcendental intellectuals, transcontinental and intertextual, interjectual. Blessed with the best of mentals, texted and sketched with pencils, etched it in pens expressed on instrumentals. Exceptionally suspenseful, intense and expressively sensical. Instead of demented and sensual, why invented? We're actually sentient. Nephilim, Elohim, Anunnaki descendants, dependent upon paparazzi's remnants, with intoxicated senses and cops that hate us with a vengeance. How could we not be jaded and senseless from the entrance? But we could not be faded in a sentence. They can pray for our descent, but I stay with my seven senses, heaven sent. And my eighth is a shapeshifter like native tricksters. While they pray to lizard gods that slither, we dodge the blizzards and the fogs that lifted. Disobey the laws of physics and stray with goddesses and wizards. Stray with goddesses and
dimethyltryptamine, rise to the level of bliss serene, vivid seamstress of liquid dreams. Nothing exists as it seems. We live in the midst of beams from crystals, in the midst of beings from distant scenes unfolding, spun like pungent omens. What I've done is scolded, so cold and ignoble. I've been told I'm soulless, yet I am a soul that's bodiless. I am a scroll from a body misfit, karate kick in a split second. Reality splices, fallacies, vices, islands of ice, palaces mighty. There is no malice within me, evil is lifeless. A chalice bleeding the might of the Savior. I sip it enticed from the flavor, savor my existence in all of its beauty. Ugliness is a thing of the past, suchness brings the vastness of luscious pastures. Tadvam asi, aham brahmasmi, moss on trees, subatomic seeds of life, creeds of light. I see delightful things all around, all abounds. It's just a matter of seeing atoms and beings, ladders to deeds unfathomably bright. Gladness and insight from a dim light to a celestial vessel. Equestrian blessings from Deva Datta and the Devis of Siddhartha.
I'm not talking about the mind when I say the third eye. See, mind is capable of fantastic things by itself. You have not explored even a small percentage of the mind's capabilities.
Darkness passes faster than light flashes. You might gasp for breath if you hearken to the masses too much. It's like acid fume gusts. We clash to the death with pastors, goons and busters. You have to assume trust with your close friends. Suspicion is no end. You'll end up on a ghost ship with no friends, wishing you could go back and seek them. My mission is to flow tracks to teach kin. The globe's blackness is bleak, yes, but it's a momentary lapse despite. It goes from black to light, like when you're back to life in the afterlife. Don't try to mask your strife. Struggle is the path to enlightenment. A thug in a past life can be a Buddha in the vastness and height of the future. An Asura can be a Rudra. One karmic wheels revolution and everything changes. I'm carving steel and severing strangers' heads. Many angels dread my rhetoric and the dangers ahead of me. I'm benevolent and sane regardless of what's said of me. Demonic and malevolent, putrid and horrid beings abound. Honest heaven sends a few and far in between. It's astounding we even have anyone left. Many sons' deaths and daughters were in vain, yet the waters from the rains of the goddess's tears form into streams, rivers, lakes, and seas that slake and feed the thirst of her seeds. Reborn in my dreams, I shiver from perfect deeds and deplorable ones. I've been a horrible son, but I'll be a better husband and father. It's better to trust me than to walk away in disgust. The pages I discuss keep the flocks at bay. What I ought to say is that I'm sorry to Christians, but I'm sorry that religions exist. I dismiss them and diss them. Divinity and faith are my boons, like the trinity of the sacred moon. Maiden, mother, and crone, sages, brothers, and poems are my beacons. If I've shown any weakness, I know many speeches counter this. They send me to regions mountainous to meditate on my goddess's peachy countenance and elevate to the farthest recesses of cosmic depths. Then breathe fountains as the darkness sets.
loss impermanence in service to Vaishnava. Krishna and Radha whisper kisses with the japa. Cinda spinning saucers as a citizen of consciousness. Bliss sits Ananda, spinning in the chakra. In between the third and fifth, this is Anahata. Rhythmic with the mantra, ripping through samsara. Journey to Vaikuntha, moving in nirvana. Truthful hymns with Satya, union with divine. Shine the light of Bhagavata. Bond with Bhagavan and cosmic pawns. These songs are offerings. The harmony is arming kings with artistry. We'll start to see you sooner than later. Truth's older than Methuselah. The guru blooms in aether. You consume the nature, the nectar of the savior. The essence of the labors in service to your neighbors. Twofold mind, pine to purify the anger. Desire, you'll find that its power is false. In alchemy, the salt will constrict and contract. The dualistic energy that censors these actions extend from the ashes, been whose wingspan galactic. Shiva and Kailash, regenerative aspects, sitting with the back stretched to the sky. Moving breath up through the spine, jewels divine, students climb, Jacob's ladder through the stupa shining. With light beams through the holy heads, in the sessions rising, blessed with lightning in the sky, limitless expansive. Sky resembles truth, lightning symbolizes that which is good. Sattva, the crux of this experience. The deep bluish cloud cover seen as insignificant. This resembles ignorance, forgetfulness of self, and union with God. A mute root of false separation of the Rajas. But the sky is all pervading, say the name, it's Brahma. Haribol, soul devotional, heart open to the Godhead. Back to Vrindavana, Govinda, Gopala, Gopala, Govinda, Govinda, Gopala, Gopala, Govinda, Govinda.
Is your higher education. Bless you like messiahs and celestial patrons. False messengers and liars left you pacing, restless like wandering ghosts and the Ruroni Ronins. While you're laundering clothes, I'm heeding holy omens, honoring hosts, reading scrolls, honing and achieving goals, speaking with the most potent, dopest and deepest spoken teachers. Here's a token, you can peek this and be speechless, like roaming with the meekest of street kids. Believe each writ is replete with secrets, so breathe deep, kid. Your dome piece is a zone of the cosmos. Don't feed it with clone feeds from lost ghosts and odd folks. Be in osmosis with what gods wrote. I toss the Pope in a mosh pit of zombies and monsters. He's lost and demonic like conquering mobsters. I cough from the chronic by Saja Guru's offerings. Baha'is from the Satya Yuga proffering Matya Sutras, scoffing at lies like Mahabuddhas. Stop the disguises, see Rama's mudras. False prophets despise Ekadasa Rudras. And Brahma is the future, so I mock your denials. Christ is righteous light, the brightest light in the night. And Krishna is Vishnu, consciousness that lifts you. Seven heavens, ascension is essential.
The delusion and confusion is devoured and destroyed by Krishna Govinda, the cowherd boy, flowers and joy we offer to supreme form and void. While atheists make noise like walking in corduroys. What's a heart worth if that heart don't burst in spontaneous devotion and deep emotion immersed? We reverse the curse, serve the earth, heard the word, worship with work, seeking the kingdom of Ishvara first. I won't lie, I get high as hell like Montel, I might as well. It's an offering to my God self. Calm down, hold a steady Medi on Gopala. Hosanna in the highest, Om Namah Shivaya. Beginningless, no mothers, no father. Sat Chidananda, no worries, no bothers. Beyond actions, reactions in the commas. Jai Govinda, Gopala, 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 Gopala.
Birthed in the subtle planes of the mind, trained in the divine rebuttal of your creed's curse. I bleed verses, never realign with your greed's thirst. The seed of the earth's constellations, I sever the blind ties with mankind and their bland crimes. I believe in worth and concentration, clever as the mind's eye expands and shines upon the sands of time, blindfolded through landmines, rhymes old and golden as the son of man, guiding me, providing me with insight. I'm in flight, astral traveling past vast galaxies, unraveling, piercing through the clouds like javelins, peering through the shrouds of Babylon. It's likes I bathe in light while pagans write babbling. You players light, battling for mayor's right. I say it's quite insidious. Me, I write for the grittiest, for God and the goddess, for gods like the wittiest garden of artists. I play with and stray with martyrs I pray with, unfold rhyme scrolls that blossom like pine cones in many time zones. Awesome as the sign Om, that your mind drones through the fortune of divine poems and sublime tones as you find your own bliss, while the clones hiss with their domes split. I roam rifts in the space-time fabric, embrace the mind lavish, pace and climb ladders of snakes and swine, scatter the stakes as minds matter to protect from neglect and rejection. My purpose since conception, the worth of this inception, no word of a deception, no word of a deception.
Death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside of us while we live.
I watch from a bird's eye's view, a traumatized child in the body of a lost and blurry-eyed youth who socializes in a wild yet godly fashion. An odd bastard that plays his cards rashly, constantly harassed by demons in his mind. He seems to be confined within it, blinded by his sinning, walking in hells and awkward cells, lost in this gel's samsaric vastness. But he talks in spells to harness the madness, an artist with a canvas that stretches past the farthest pastures on the sordid atlas. He's soaring past them as he writes, voices hoarse and raspy spite him in his ears, but he blasts and strikes them with his peers, astrally likened to an eerily masterful lichen, a shaman with phrases, neuro-linguistically gifted hacker, intrinsically mystic rapper. With Hanuman's grace and agility, he displays his abilities, attacking opponents unspeakably wicked with his crafted omens. He seeks to be lifted past the zones that he dwells in. Hell's sins engulf him, but he delves and swims like dolphins in the flames. In his brain he adapts and evolves till he maps it all. He's a heavenly being, but he's a tarnished angel. He's meant to be gleaming, but he's scorched and strangled, contorted in angles that are far from yogic. Still he blossoms like a lotus and spars with foes, with bars as potent as the stars that glow. He hardly notices how much he's suffering much of the time. How could he clutch this? It's too much for the mind to grasp. The pressure would confine and collapse the best of minds. They would crack under the test of time, and perhaps eventually be blind as bats of an elemental kind that lacks ultrasonic capabilities. So he alters sonnets and willingly assaults his demonic tormentors with sonic clauses that mentally harm them like the jaws of a saber-toothed tiger. He aims to save the youth from liars that degrade the truths of messiahs and saviors. He aspires to sages' wisdom and despises it in pages written. Bright moon in the skies, dark eyes pierce through the heartless lies. Peers that you thought had died rise, peering from the top of a high rise. Why cry? Clouds get heavy with raindrops, shrouded in envy. When will the pain stop? Stained socks from this long walk, strained optics, watching my praise progress like a strong hawk. I pray that God blesses this song's odyssey and thought processes. I used to be a calm prodigy with an odd essence. It's all in the message, and the goddess is the messenger. Regardless of my aura's presence, I will always be like honest peasants. My destiny like an onyx gem. I fight my enemies' demonic sins, strike with the energy of sonic hymns, igniting heavenly psalms within, bonding with kin calm as the wind. Spit songs and split sticks with thick palms, cryptic like alms at mid-dawn. A mystic among sick pawns, warmongers and sadistic conquerors. I ponder all the listless monsters while you wander in the distance, lost among statistics. For instance, can you master your past, kid, and grasp what the path is? It's like wrath is addictive, and the math is half of an elliptic graph. I'm no solipsist bastard, but I have been a hazardous has-been. So be glad that I grabbed pens. I could have stabbed men with bad tempers. I had many bad mentors, too many sad winters. I'm a semi-mad inventor with envy for my dad's mental. Friendly and a tad elemental. Half-body sattvic, half shoddy and blasted. When I pass, put a mask on my madness. Wrap my body's ashes and cast them into a chasm's blackness. We went from atoms to atom, now from matter to plastic. AIs store the data of masses. Me, I'd rather be fasting than staying high off of battery acids. No more flattery, I'd rather be basking in my past masteries than be asking if the grass has to be greener on the other side. It seems so many brothers died to fertilize it, and further the lies written. The rise of Christian right-wing conservative extremists, striking and murdering the dreamers instead of the heathens. Why do our leaders fight to deceive us, while light and ether's likened to Jesus? Darkness lights up our features. I'm a lichen in speeches, like it or leave it. Peace is at the height of our demons, believe it.
We now have direct confirmation of a disruptor in our midst. One who has acquired an almost messianic reputation in the minds of certain citizens. His figure is synonymous with the darkest urges of instinct, ignorance, and decay. Some of the worst excesses of the Black Mesa incident have been laid directly at his feet. And yet unsophisticated minds continue to imbue him with romantic power, giving him such dangerous poetic labels as the one free man, the opener of the way.
Llegada del tormento auxiliar tal y como lo registrará la ciencia. Las culturas del mundo, cristianos, musulmanes, budismo, hinduismo, judaísmo, conflicto. Entre cuál religión y la paz rara vez pasa. Para algunos quedó ahogada en el canal de Panamá, pero dos grandes pájaros